Good morning, everyone. We are learning Mishnah's Arla, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Ches, Mishnah 8. I'd like to dedicate this morning's learning in memory of my mother, Mrs. Shalamis Rabinowitz, Shalamis plus Rabbi Yaakov Eliezer. Today's Mishnah will be pretty short. We'll be spending a little bit more time on the laws of Lashon Harah and Rechilas. And actually tomorrow, Me'ez Hashem, will be the final Mishnah of Maseches Arla. We'll be completing Arla tomorrow. Ketzad. So the previous Mishnah had mentioned that according to the sages, according to the Chachamim, you have 6 things that cannot become nullified. And according to Rabbi Kiva, there are 7 things. They argue on Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that Davar Shebeminyan, anything that's sold by unit, is significant enough not to be nullified. The sage Rabbi Kiva disagreed, and they said, according to the sages, there are 6 types of things that cannot become nullified. Basically, these things are large, expensive, and the most outstanding of their species. And Rabbi Kiva also included bread that was baked by a private person. So the Mishnah says, Ketzad. How is this? Meaning, under what conditions do we say this? And that the Mishnah says, basic Mishnah reads like this: Nispatzu ha'goizim. If let's say the walnuts were cracked open, nispardu harimayim, or the pomegranates were split, nispatchu hachaviyos, the barrels were opened, nischatchu hadluyim, the Greek gourds were cut, nisparzu hakikros, the lobes were broken, yalu be'echad masayim, then they can become nullified in 200 to 1. Now, let's go back a bit. Let's review a little bit. In the previous Mishnah, we said that we know that if you have kilei akerem or arla that gets mixed into permissible food, you need 200 times more than the kilei akerem or the arla to nullify it. There are certain things that no matter what the ratio is, the proportion is, they're not going to be nullified because there's significance. And the Mishnah mentioned the 6 things that the Chachamim, that sages say, will not be nullified. And they were the walnuts of Perech, they were the pomegranates of Badan, closed barrels of wine, the leaves of beets, the stalks of cabbage, the Greek gourd, according to Rabbi Akiva, breads baked by a private person. The Mishnah is now saying that when the Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva both say that something that cannot be nullified because of its significance, it's only if it's whole. The Mishnah says by all these things, if they are not whole, the walnuts were cracked open, and the pomegranates were split, and the barrels were open, the gourds were cut apart, or the loaves read according to Rabbi Akiva were broken, then we say that they do not have significance anymore, and therefore 200 permissible against them, if they are arla or kilei akerem, will be able to nullify. What's interesting is that in the notes I bring down here that it's clear from the Mishnah. The Mishnah is talking about for sure where they fell in broken, meaning when the mixture took place, they were broken already. And the Mishnah that says they not nullify is clearly talking about when they get mixed up, they're whole. And our Mishnah is talking about that they were broken when they got mixed up. And that's when we say, if it's whole, it will not be nullified. If it's broken when it gets mixed already broken, it will be nullified. There is a machlokes, as an argument amongst the Tanoim, amongst the sages, brought down in a brisa that actually say that what about a case where it fell in whole, but then it broke up? Okay, the case is where when it got mixed, it was whole, but then afterwards, while still mixed, that's when it came apart. Do we say that it becomes nullified then or not? That is a machlokes Tanoim. That is an argument amongst the sages brought down in the Gemara. Not the Gemara Arla. There is no Gemara in Arla, but the Gemara in Gittin. Okay. Now, Mishnah, we're the laws of Rechilas, in the Chavetz Chaim, Klal Vav, chapter 6, Sif Hey, paragraph 5. So, we're actually in paragraph 6. Paragraph 5, the Chavetz Chaim wrote that if, let's say, you have someone that you believe that person like two witnesses, and they tell you that someone hurt you or wants to hurt you. So the Chavetz Chaim said, if the person is telling you something irrelevant, then even if you trust them like two people, you can't believe it. However, if let's say telling you something relevant to you, something you need to know to protect yourself, then the Chavetz Chaim said, if you're hearing this from a person who is trusted by you like he's trusted to you like two witnesses who come to a beis din, that's how trustworthy he is by you, then you can actually believe it. At the same time, you can believe it, you can protect yourself, but you can't go spreading it just because of that. You can't even tell it to your family members if it's not relevant to them. So now, Sif Vav, paragraph Vav continues, and even where it helps, meaning the fact that this person is telling you is believed like two people, helps you to be able to believe. You know that person well. You know the nature of that person who's telling you this information. He never lies. He doesn't exaggerate. And you rely on him so much. Meaning you feel confident in him to the point that you believe what he's saying, like two witnesses. The gam came b'sha'ar devarim tamid. And the same thing applies regarding other matters, meaning not just for this thing, but for all matters. That he's like he's like two witnesses. The two witnesses in a beis din. The halacha says we don't doubt what they say. So this person that is believed by you, you trust this person like two witnesses, has to be someone that, again, you know them well. It's not just, oh, this is a person, I'm sure he's telling the truth. You know them well. You know they always speak the truth. You know they don't exaggerate or overdo it. You feel confident in them. And you feel confident in them in all matters. You trust them like two witnesses in all matters. Okay. Avo. And as the Chavetz Chaim adds here in the footnote, even after all is said and done, this trustworthiness of this person only is enough for you to believe it. You can't go on that, based on that, in cause of any kind of monetary loss, like or to believe and to go strike him and to physically assault him, or the or to insult him and put him down with words because of that. Believing this person like two witnesses doesn't give you the right to put someone else down. All it gives you the right to do is to believe it. That's it. If this person wasn't trustworthy like two people, you couldn't believe it. You could protect yourself. You can act in a way that you try to protect yourself because you can take it into consideration. You consider it a possibility, but you can't believe it. Okay, so now if you have a person that's believed like two people, and all the conditions for believing such a person are there, you can believe it, but you can't do anything more than that. You cannot go then and act upon it, even just to go ahead and insult him and to put him down. But in regard to other matters, you don't trust him so much. And you just really feel you want to trust him now, in this case, when he's telling you what someone wants to do to you or has done to you. But because it's sweet to you, this juicy news, then you decide, I trust him like two people. If that's what's happening, anywhere else you don't believe him. But now when he's telling you this rechilas, that's when you say, oh, he's the kind of person I trust like two witnesses. You're not allowed to believe him. The more you actually accept as a truth what he told you, the more you now fall into the category of someone who is believing Lashon Harah and rechilas. The Chavetz Chaim concludes this part of the discussion, being believed like people. This law, that there's someone you can believe like two witnesses, was only in times of the Gemara, of the Talmud. They are nowadays the Paiskim, the Halachic authorities, right? That we should not give anyone that kind of trustworthiness. One person, like we give one person trustworthiness of two people to say that it's absolutely true what he's saying, and to say that he would never say something that's not true, or at least mess up a detail. Okay, and therefore, at the end of the day, you may not accept and believe what he says just to keep it in consideration. Then he says, and more to it, to have the conditions we mentioned before, that all of them should come together, is very rare. You can see many people are mistaken when it comes to this. They may be very careful from the prohibition of speaking Lashon Harah or accepting it when they hear it from others. But if they hear it from their parents or from their wife, then already they believe it. These people would never lie to him. This is a big mistake. There's no difference. Meaning, as the Chavetz Chaim said before, the question here of not believing someone is not necessarily because it's not true, or because I shouldn't say that. It's not because they're lying to you, but it can very well be that they're not telling it over accurately. So it's not a complete lie, but they're not accurate, and that can happen even by one's parents and one's spouse. Sure, they never want to. They don't want to lie. They're not going to lie to you. They're never trying to mess you up. They only mean the best for you. They think they're telling you the truth, but the point is, from the halachic point of accepting Lashon Harah, that's not enough basis to be able to say that you can believe it as the actual truth. And therefore, it doesn't make a difference if you're hearing it from a third party or from someone close to you. At the end of the day, there is no one that we can look at as believed like two people that you could absolutely go and believe what they're telling you when it comes to Rechilas Lashon Harah. Have a wonderful day.